You got it?
Yes.
Interessant.
Okay. Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula Bhakata Seva Paramasiti Premalati Karamula Bhakata Seva Paramasiti Premalati Karamula Madhavatiti Bhakti Janani Chaitane Palana Kori Madhavatiti Bhakti Janani Chaitana Palana Kori Krishna Vasate Vasate Bale Parama Adara Bodhi Krishna Vasate Vasate Bale Parama Adara Bodhi Gaur Amara Chesapadastane Koralo Brahmana Range Goramara Chesabhastane Koralo Brahmana Range Sesabhastana Heripa Ami Pranai Bhakata Sange Sesabhastana Heripa Ami Pranai Bhakati Sangha Pranai Bhakata Sangha Mritanga Bhatya Shunitamana Apasara Sadayache Mritanga Bhatya Shunitamana Apasara Sadayache Gora Bihita Kirtana Shuni Anandarito Yanache Gora Bihita Kirtana Shuni Anandarito Yanache Jugala Murti Deki Hamora Paramananda Hoya Jugala Murti Deki Hamora Paramananda Hoya Prasada Seva Korita Hoya Sakala Prapancha Chaya Prasada Seva Korita Hoya Sakala Prapancha Chaya Chedina Grihe Bachana Deki Grihe Te Goloka Baya Chedina Grihe Bachana Deki Grihe Te Goloka Baya Charana Sito Tekiya Ganga Sukhana Sima Paya Charana Sito Tekiya Ganga Sukhana Sima Paya Tulasi Deki Chudaya Prana Madhava Toshani Chani Tulasi Deki Chudaya Prana Madhava Toshani Chani Gora Priya Shakha Sevane Jivane Satakamani Gora Priya Shaka Sevane Jivane Satakamani Bhakti Vinoda Krishna Bhajane Anakula Payachaha Bhakti Vinoda Krishna Bhajane Anakula Payachaha Pratitibhasa Paramasuka Svikara Koroyetaha Pratitibhasa Paramasuka Svikara Koroyetaha Shuddha Bhakata Charana Denu Bhajana Anukula Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula Bhakata Seva Paramasiti Premalati Karamula Bhakata Seva Paramasiti Premalati Karamula Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Read the translation. The dust of the feet of pure devotees, enthusiastic devotional service, and service to the devotees of the highest order are the roots of creeper of devotion, Bhakti Lata. The holy days like Ekadashi and Janmashtami are the mother of devotion. Holy places of Krishna's pastimes are worshipable and sources of great blessings. May I always visit those holy places associated with the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and his devotees. Hearing the sound of the mridanga, my heart desires to join the kirtan. And when I hear songs describing Gaura's pastimes, my heart dances in ecstasy. Whenever I see the transcendental Sri Vigraha of Radha Krishna, I'm in bliss. I honor their lordships prasad. By honoring their lordships prasad, one can conquer the influence of material nature. Once while performing devotional practices, I saw my home transformed into Goloka Vrindavan. When I see the take of Charanamrita of the deity, I see the holy Ganga, the nectar of the Lord's feet. My joy knows no bounds. By seeing and worshipping the Tulsi plant, my heart feels afresh, and Madhava will be pleased. When I honor the prasad favored by Gauranga, I consider my life became a success. Bhaktivinoda concludes, whoever engages in favorable, enthusiastic devotional service, Anukula Bhakti, will be supremely blissful at any time. You can also sing another song. Oh, He Vaishnava Thakura is the next. One moment. O he Vaishnava Thakura, Toyara Sakara, Etase Koruna Kori. O he Vaishnava Thakura, Toyara Sakara, Etase Koruna Kori. Diya Pata Chaya, Shoto he Amaya, Tomara Charana Thori. Diya Pata Chaya, Shoto he Amaya, Tomara Charana Thori. Chaya Vega Domi, Chaya Dosha Shodhi, Chaya Guna Dehodase, Chaya Vega Domi, Chaya Dosha Shodhi, Chaya Guna Dehodase, Chaya Satsanga, Deho e Amare, Pose che sangera ase. Chaya satsanga, deho e amare, Pose che sangera ase. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sakara, Etasa Koruna Kori. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Doya Sakara, Etase Koruna Kori. Ekaki Amara, Nahi Paya Bala, Arinama Sankirtane. Ekaki Amara, Nahi Paya Bala, Arinama Sankirtane. Tumi Kripa Kori, Shrata Bindu Diya, Deho Krishna Namadhane. Tumi Kripa Kori, Shrata Bindu Diya, Deho Krishna Namadhane. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Toyada Sakara, Edase Koruna Kori. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Toyada Sakara, Edase Koruna Kori. Krishna se tomara, Krishna tite paro, tomara shakati ache. Krishna se tomara, Krishna tite paro, tomara shakati ache. Amito Kangala, Krishna Krishna boli, Dai tava pache pache. Amito Kangala, Krishna Krishna boli, Dai tava pache pache. Krishna se tomara, Krishna tite paro, tomara shakati ache. Amito Kangala, Krishna Krishna boli, Dai tava pache pache. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Dayara Sakara, Etase Koruna Kori. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Dayara Sakara, Etase Koruna Kori. Diya Pada Jaya, Shodo Heya Maya, Tomara Charana Tori. Diya Pada Jaya, Shodo Heya Maya, Tomara Charana Tori. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. O Venerable Vaishnava, you are an ocean of mercy. Please be merciful unto your servant and grant me shelter in the shade of your holy feet. I grasp your feet, please purify me. Teach me to control the 6 urges, that I'm able to rectify my 6 bad habits, so that the 6 good qualities of a Vaishnava will become manifest in my heart. And please offer unto me the 6 kinds of loving exchanges with devotees. I sit before you, desiring your association. On my own, I have no power to chant the holy name of Krishna. Please be merciful to me. Bless me with a drop of faith with which I'm able to obtain the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to whomever you wish. I'm a beggar, chanting Krishna, Krishna, and simply follow you. You hear me good?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Mr. Bhat, Brahmhamsa Prajgachaya, Sudhara Satsisimat. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namachai Sil Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Premskosi Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Chamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Bhai Purnavadip Dham Ki Jai, Vrindam Mathura Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtanya Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the Seven Lotus, all glories to the Seven Lotus, all glories to the Seven Lotus, all glories to Guru Karanga, glories to Prabhupada. Omakyatimaranyasya Gananchana Salakyam Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kathamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnav Shah Shri Rupam Sagachatam Sagana Rakunatam Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parichana Saita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Shah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastai Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vacharine Niyavishesha Sunyavadi Pashtata Deshatarine Panchakalpatrubhyascha Kripas Indibhevacha Patitanam Pamnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodhita Gaudadaya Pushpavanto Chitta Chando Tamonadao Namo Mahapadanaya Krishna Premadayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namna Gaura Tvishedamaha Panchatatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktyakam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandha Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Shri Ram Keshavo Vande Prachadisho Jagapati Paramananda Dattarao Shritamadi Per Auritao Chayatam Surato Bangor Mamanda Mater Katir Matsarvaso Padambocho Radha Madana Mohano Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpatrumada Srimad Ratnagara Singasanasto Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prestalivi Seva Mano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Panchivata Tatastita Karshan Venus Manai Gopir Gopinath Shri Estanaha Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayati Jayati Deva Devaki Nandana Sao Jayati Krishna Vrishni Vamsa Pratipaha Jayati Meka Shamala Komalango Jayati Prithvi Para Nasha Mukunda Jayati Janani Vasi Devaki Chanmavado Yadapara Parishatsvado Virasanna Dharmam Stirachara Vichinakya Susmita Shimukhena Prachapura Vanitayam Vatayam Kama Devam Namo Brahmanaya Devaya Go Brahmanahitaya Cha Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devakinandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Pankachanabhaya, Nama Pankachamaline, Nama Pankachanetraya, Namaste Pankachangraye. Madhuram Vapurasya Vipo, Madhuram Vatanam, Madhuram, Ahur, Madhuram. Apurasya Vipur Maturam Batanam Matukandi Mrito Smita Detat Aho Maturam Sri Krishna Gopala Hare Mukunda Govinda Hinanda Kishora Krishna Ashi Yashoda Tanaya Prasida Shri Pallavi Jivana Radhikesha Namaste Halagraha, Namaste Mushala Yutha, Namaste Revati Kanta, Namaste Bhaktavatsala, Namaste Taranitara, Namaste Palanam Shrestha, Pralambare Namaste Stu, Ehimam Krishna Purvacha, Shutas Patika Sankasam Raktambucha Dalekshanam, Rohinitanayam Ramam, Kama Palambachamyaham. Vahasiva Pushi Vishade Vasanam Chaladabam Alahati Piti Militam Yamunabam Keshavadrita Aladara Rupa Chachakati Sahare Yayam sata paribhavakyam abhishtadoham tirthaspadam shivirin chinutam sharanyam pritatiham pranatapala pavapti potam vande mahapurushate charanarvindam Tyaktva satushchicha surepsiddharachya lakshmin dharmishtarya vachasatyat agadaranyam mayamrikam daityepsitam anvadavat Vande ma purushate charanarvindam Achanalam pito pucha kanakavatatav Sankirtanaka pitaro kamalaya takshav Vishvambaro tvichavaro yugadharma palau Vande chakapriyakaro karuna avatarau Nityananda Vatur Vasuda Pranavalabha Chanavi Jivita Pati Krishna Prema Krishna Prema Prada Prabhu Padmavati Sutta Shriman Sachinandana Purvaka Pavomata Chakatrakta Rakta Gora Kalevara Chaitanya Krishna Chaitanya Gauranga Tvichanayaka Yatinam Dandinam Chaiva Yasinam Cha Shiromani Raktambara Thara Shriman Navadip Sudakara Prema Bhakti Pradas Chaiva Sisachinandanastata Vairagya Vidya Nicha Bhakti Yoga Shikshata Eka Purusha Purana Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Tari Kripam Bodhiryasyam Aham Prabhadye Shri Guru Paramananda Premananda Palaprada Prachananda Pradhananda Sevayamani Ochaya Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayati Karim Yat Kripatam Aham Bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Matavam Krishna Chaitanya Ishvaram Narayana Namaskritam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Chayam Udirayet Nastapreshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatu Tamash Loke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishrayasaya Lokasya Danyam Svasta Namaha Krishna Svatamapakate Dharmakyani Pisaha Kalonastati Mesha Purunarkotunotitaha Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Pinatvam Nama Namino Trinata Pisane Chena Tarora Pisahishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Satahari Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Swai Grace Srila Prabhupada ki all the assembled devotees ki Shri Ishvara Puri Pad ki Shri Shikonitai ki Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Ekadasi Vrata ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So who remembers what was the topic last time? You hear me? only 1 month ago.
Yes, we hear you, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, so Shaktiya, you should know, at least partially.
I'm not sure, Guru Maharaj. It was 1 month ago.
Then you should ask your husband. He has good memory.
Yes.
Oh, but this time my memory has betrayed me.
So what's the use of a class, if you don't remember, if one asks you,
After 1 month. What was?
everything for nothing.
Vanamal is now looking at her notebook.
Yeah. Maybe somebody else knows. Huh? Pandu Vijay.
Haribol.
You know so many laws and paragraphs, so you should know.
I don't know.
Also know. Then who knows?
Guru Maharaj, maybe it was about Shukadev Goswami, how he was traveling.
Maybe or maybe not.
And
Huh?
yes, how he left home, and Vyasadeva was very touched and concerned, and then
You were present?
I was listening after.
Oh, very good. That's Russian memory.
No, I have bad memory, but I heard few times, listened few times.
Yes, that was the topic. Glories of Shukadev Goswami. Now maybe some of you makes a little ringing. Cling, cling.
Yeah, Dashavatara. I remember. Yeah, thank you, Vasanta.
No, Dashavata, not.
Not?
No.
Bad.
About Shukadev Goswami. Dashavatar was another time.
Okay, that I remember, yes.
So anyway, we last time we discussed to refresh you the memory a little. The first pranam by Sutta Goswami to Shukadev Goswami, the original speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So who knows who is the original speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam? Huh?
Shiva?
I just told. Just a half a minute ago.
Yeah. Vyasadeva?
Sutta Goswami.
Shiva.
The original speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Who is the original speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam?
Shukadeva Goswami.
I just mentioned it, You should listen. You're actually awake or what? Or still in the bed somewhere? Or eating prasadam? Yeah. The Bhakti Granta, we never know.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. So that you not fall asleep, huh? So the original speaker, to make it clear, is Shukadev Goswami. Who is the second speaker after Shukadev Goswami? Who knows?
Sutta Goswami.
Sutta Goswami. And to whom he was narrating the Bhagavatam?
Sages of Naimisharanya.
Yeah, okay, very good. somebody has some noise behind in your microphone, so you should switch off if you have noises, some children screaming. So yeah, so he because the speaker, before he recites Bhagavatam, or before he speaks about Krishna and glories of Krishna, he offers his respectful vandanas or pranamas to his superiors. By their mercy, one is actually able to speak. Otherwise, we are born blindly. Agyana timaranyasya gyananchana salakyam chakshur unmilitam yena tasma shri gurave namaha. So we are blind, and only by the mercy of a guru we're receiving the proper vision so that we can see. See by the jnana chakshu, through the eyes of knowledge. And the process to receive this knowledge is by hearing. This Shravana and Kirtana process is like yagya. It's a yagya prescribed for this age of the Kali Yuga. The only yagya. Previous ages, other yagyas were functioning, fire yagyas, Agnihotra, like that, Agnistoma. The huge arrangements for yagyas. But nowadays in Kali Yuga, these yagyas are not very much effective, not very much qualified brahmanas who can perform it and chant the mantras without mistake. Because I heard many brahmanas that they chant so swiftly, and you can almost not hear anything, not one syllable. So it's very difficult, and it's very expensive. So Sankirtan Yagya, and it's always and another thing is it always has to be performed according to time, place, and circumstances by qualified persons who are pure in mind. Those who are not pure in mind, they cannot participate in the Yagya, but they can observe from outside. But they have no permission to enter in the Yagya stala or arena. So that means in Kali Yuga, nobody is qualified. Everyone is muchi, is full of faults. Kali dosha videya rajan is an ocean of faults. They have so many disqualifications, so many impurities. And everyone in Kali Yuga is born as a Shudra. Kala Shudra Sambhava. And only by initiation or by receiving mantra from a guru, one can receive the status of being twice born, Tvicha. But even if somebody is Tvicha, but he is not, I would say, a devotee of Krishna, not a Vaishnava, then this twice-born status only leads to his arrogance and proudness and exploiting others in the name of, I'm a Tvicha, I'm a Brahmin, I'm from higher caste. So in Lord Chaitanya's movement, who started, as you all know, sometime more than 500 years ago, or about 500 years ago, they didn't make any distinction between who is qualified and who is not. Everyone was accepted, even those who were considered outcast. So everyone got the opportunity to become a devotee of Krishna just by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So Shukadev Goswami, he was born in a Brahmana family. He was the son of Vyasadeva, who was the incarnation of Narayana. He was a great sage, a seer who knows the future, the present, and the past. We don't know much about the past. We don't know much about the future, and we don't even know the present properly, because our senses are imperfect. So we only speculate and perceive everything with our imperfect senses. And we hear so many opinions and so many news about what is going on in the world. And if you're listening to all this news, what is going on in this world, then you become crazy. Simply crazy. Because that is the program, to make the people bewildered, to make them confused, so that they don't know anymore what is right and not know what is wrong. They don't know what is truth and what is not truth. Because in Kali Yuga, symptom is that the truth becomes untruth and the untruth becomes the truth. So we have practical experience nowadays, because we live in Kali Yuga. We should not be surprised about what is going on in this world, and also in our mind, in our lives. This is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Kale dosha niderajan. And as we heard in Bhagavatam, in this age, everyone is manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagya hi upadrita. They're lazy, especially for spiritual emancipation, to make an endeavor to find out who I really are, how to understand the supreme truth, the ultimate goal of life, and how to make an endeavor in this direction. And we're lacking association of sadhus, of pure devotees. So therefore, one follows the nishachara. That means that those who don't show proper conduct or no proper example in behavior. And so in this way, everyone is gliding down to a hellish condition of life. So the Bhagavatam was meant actually to solve the problem of the people suffering and the condition of life of their unfortunateness, of their bad situation where they are in. By giving them the process of devotees and hearing and chanting about Krishna in the association of devotees. This is essential. If you don't have this, you're actually very poor. Although you're a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever, you're a poor guy. Because what is the value of all your money and all of your values, what you have, if you don't know who you are? What is your destination after this time millions are over, and your body who considers wrongly that I possess it, this is mine, and in the future I will get more and more. Every minute nowadays people get millions, more. Of course, also many lose many millions every minute. That's the age of speculation. Therefore, devotees should not speculate. Should not speculate for money to increase your opulences or your good fortune. It will destroy you. Especially now, it's very insecure. You should not speculate. You should not engage in all these sinful activities of Kali, because all these four pillars of Kali, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and killing of animals and eating meat. These are the pillars of sin. So, and the Bhagavatam is meant to cut these four pillars. And the attachment to opulences, because opulences makes a person so crazy that he thinks I'm God myself and I can do with all my money so much. I can manipulate everything and take it under my command, under my desire. And so in this way, everything is gliding down more and more to hellish life. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is like sunshine. Krishna is Vatama Bhagavate, Dharma Kyani Pisaha, Kalonasta Dishamesha, Purana Katunodita. He appeared directly after Krishna disappeared. That's actually the age when Kali appeared. Astrological and the great sages, they counted the day when Krishna left from this world, Kali appeared. Although Kali appeared, symptoms were already present at Krishna's time. There were many demons. Duryodhana was there. He was a manifestation, partial manifestation of Kali. And then Parikshit Maharaj encountered also Kali in person, who wanted to kill cow and bull, Dharma, and the earth. So king became very angry. Therefore, as long as Krishna and Krishna's representatives, the Pandavas, and Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson, was present, Kali Yuga had not a chance to influence the people. But as soon as Krishna and the Pandavas left, and also Parikshit Maharaj, by destiny, after 7 days, he had to die. He got the curse. So he immediately used this opportunity to make the best out of that, of these 7 days, and went to the bank of the Ganga, sit down and wait. If you're confused, if you don't know what to do, you should sit down and see, become introspective, become conscious what is actually going on. Then answer will come. Answer from outside, inside, and especially you have a book, Bhagavatam. So if Bhagavatam is such a wonderful book, like Bhagavad Gita also, these 2 books, you can open at any place. It gives you always an inspiration for the day and for the moment, for the situation you are in. It's like an oracle book, but not in a bad way, but in an auspicious way. Srimad Bhagavatam means auspicious. Srimad. Bhagavatam means Bhagavat, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also means the Bhagavata devotees. Lord Chaitanya recommended Bhagavata Paradiya, Bhagavata Sthane. If you want to learn Bhagavatam or know Bhagavatam, learn it from devotee, Bhagavata devotee, who lives the Bhagavatam, who is a living Bhagavatam. So now we have the good luck, we have good fortune, we have association of the Bhagavata in form of the book, with all the purports by Srila Prabhupada and previous acharyas whom he quoted. We also have translations of other commentators, like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So, some quotes also from Sridhar Swami. He's the original commentator of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we follow actually in the footsteps of those acharyas who give us the light to the Bhagavatam. Although the Bhagavatam itself is light, but it only becomes empowered, or how to say, really effective, if we hear it in the disciplic succession, by acharya, by devotee. Then it has an effect. Like a medicine is effective, but you don't know how to take it. Therefore, you need a doctor. And the doctor tells you exactly, he prescribes you which medicine you should take, because there are thousands of medicines. And every medicine has a certain ingredients and a certain time when you should take it, and how much drops and how many tablets and like that. And then if you do that and also follow a certain diet and regulated life, then you can actually cure your diseases, at least material diseases. Spiritual diseases, medicine cannot solve. And actually, the Acharyas and the Bhagavatam points out the origin of all disease is forgetfulness of Krishna. So because we have forgotten Krishna, because we have not, we lost our orientation, we are bewildered, we are confused, and therefore we become like crazy, following all kinds of irreligious, impious activities, what is degrading us and making us sick. So the cause of sickness comes from spiritual level, comes to subtle, to the mind and intellect. They are confused, polluted, then gradually also the body becomes diseased. So now externally you maybe can take medicine, it can help for, how to say, superficially cure the disease, but the root disease cannot be cured by this kind of medicine. Even Napoleon, to tell a short thing, what Napoleon, when he was standing in front of Moscow, it was winter time, so he got a cough. The nose was flowing and cough he had, and he had doctors around him. They gave him all kinds of teas, and his favorite drink was how we call this tea, with wine in it. Punch. You say something? Punch. You cook it with wine and heat it and you drink that. And he was drinking this all the time. And the medicine, doctors gave him medicine. But his cough disappeared. He was taking medicines, taking this punch and all kinds of things. Then he chastised his doctors. And this was in the 1815, around this time. Then he thought, what's the use of all these medicines and this production of medicines if it cannot even cure a cough? So he kicked his doctors away, you know. So anyway, so that means, of course, he was a materialist, and he was very ambitious, and he was a crazy fellow, because he wanted to do something was not proper, because he was overcome by disease of conquering the world and bringing everything under his control. I'm the great God in this world. I'm the hero. So there are many who follow in this world history like that. But we hear about the devotees, kings from the previous time. They were actually thinking about the welfare of others, because they were guided by the Brahmanas and by the Vaishnavas and by the Vedic guidance, the scriptures. That was actually the law. Nowadays we have so many laws, you know, but they're relative, you know, so they're man-made. But God made law. It's in the revealed scriptures, and this is called dharma. This is the conduct, the rules, and the regulations given by the scriptures, especially for humans. For animals, no need. But humans, they have this opportunity to correct themselves and let themselves guide by the direction of the Vedas. And the Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled by Srila Vyasadeva for that purpose, because there are many different Vedic scriptures, but these Vedic scriptures, mostly people don't understand. Maybe Mahabharata a little. But philosophical things, Vedas, Upanishads, not to speak of Vedanta Sutra, very, very difficult. It's very, very complicated, very difficult. And therefore, Srila Vyasadeva compiled this great Vedic literature, who gives the commentary to the Vedanta, the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is the natural commentary by the author himself to the Vedas and to the Vedanta. Vedanta means the conclusion of the Vedas. And Vyasadeva he had a plan, he had a desire that this succession, his teaching will go on. So he had many disciples. So he made them professors and acharyas of different sectors of the Vedas, different branches of the Vedas. But he wanted to have an acharya, a representative of Bhagavad school. And he thought, oh, actually, my son, Shukadev, he would be the best, because he's a liberated soul already. He's a Atmarama, he's a Paramahamsa. He was not a person who was attached to anything in this world, also not even in his childhood when he appeared. He was not attached to his father and mother and to his home. He immediately wanted to go. To go where? City to shopping? No, he went to the forest. He went to the forest, and in the forest he was just loitering around like Avadut. Avaduta means people cannot understand you. They don't understand your deepness, your transcendental consciousness. So he was not aware about external life, although his father was calling him, Shuka, Shuka, my son, come back. I want to initiate you first. And I want to teach you something, that you have something in your head, in your heart for your life, and I have a mission for you. But son was not listening. Father only heard the echoes from the valley, from the Himalayas, from the mountains, and from the trees who were even crying, because of Shukadev Goswami leaving. So father was very shocked, although he was a great sage, he was so shocked, so surprised. That was what we discussed last time, a little. Now I told a little more. So we come to today's verse. So Suta Goswami is offering second obeisances to Shukadev Goswami in this first canto, second chapter, text 3. Yasmanu bhavam akila shruti saram ekam adyatma deepam atitirshatam tamondham samsarinam karunayaha purana goyam tam yasa sunum upayami gurum muninam. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him, Shukadev, the spiritual master of all sages, the son of Vyasadeva, who out of his great compassion for those gross materialists who struggle to cross over the darkest regions of material existence, spoke this most confidential supplement to the cream of Vedic knowledge, after having personally assimilated it by experience. So Shukadev Goswami is a self-realized person. Although he didn't show after his birth any interest in any devotion, directly, externally. He didn't want to worship a deity or chanting some external mantras and like that, puja. No, not like that. No. He was just absorbed in his own Atma, his self, his real self, not the false self. No? There are so many false self. The body, some think the body is myself, some think my mind is myself, and somebody think very proudly my intelligence, only have faith in my intelligence, is my real self. But these are all illusions. Because if these three kinds of self-identification are not related with the absolute truth, with God, with Krishna, with Bhagavan, then this kind of self is just cheating you. Because it has a beginning and an end. It's imperfect. Natural faults are there. And the imperfections. But if we are listening to the real self, the Atma, the pure soul, Jiva Atma, who is in whose heart always the Paramatma is residing, who belongs to the Chit Shakti, that means to the eternal awareness and consciousness of one's existence. The body has no awareness of existence. If you look in the mirror, what do you see? And who sees what? You look one time in the mirror, you think, yes, does it me? Yeah. Yes, if you're an illusion, you think that's me. If you look at as an observer, then you actually look in the mirror and then you observe, yes, this is my body. That means in that body, what do you see reflected in the mirror? That means there's something superior to that what is reflected in the mirror, and that's the consciousness. And consciousness can either be polluted due to material identification with the body, and therefore we're seeing everything in different colors: yellow, red, blue, mixture of them, the three modes of material nature. But the Krishna consciousness, or the consciousness of the Atma, the pure spirit soul, Chit Shakti of the Lord, eternal part and parcel of the Lord, is not affected by the material nature. And he is actually the observer. He is the consciousness who sees. But we cannot see. Even the soul cannot see without the presence of the super soul. So therefore the super soul, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, he gives us the intelligence to distinct what is what. So this is a super soul who is a super consciousness. It's not we. Even the soul is not the super consciousness. They're only minute, very small. We only can develop a higher consciousness, a transcendental consciousness, if we are in contact with the super soul, with Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchitananda Vigraha, Anadi Adi Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. So it is Krishna who is the source of the cause of all causes. Therefore, we have to connect with him. So Shukadev Goswami was always absorbed in his own self-identity as spirit soul, as Brahman. Therefore, in that stage, he was a Brahmavada, like the four Kumaras, like the Nava-Yogendras. They're all known as Gyanis, Brahmavadas. They go the path of Brahman. But they understand I'm eternal. Aham Brahmasmi. I'm not this body. I'm not the mind. I'm not the intellect. I'm not the doer. No. It is the soul, and ultimately the supreme desire of the Lord who is guiding me. So Shukadev Goswami, I think I narrated this last time. He became attracted to the Bhagavatam because his father Vyasadeva sent out some of his disciples with Bhagavatam verses, reciting loudly in the forest. So when Shukadev heard about these mantras, he became attracted, like a deer becomes attracted to the flute or sound of the hunter. But in this case, the mantra was very attractive to Shukadev. So he followed those voices, those brahmacharis, and they guided him ultimately back to Vyasadev's ashram. And Vyasadeva there, he gave him the initiation in the Bhagavatam. Therefore, Shukadev Goswami, he said, I learned the Bhagavatam in the end of Dvapara Yuga, short before the Kali Yuga. I learned the Bhagavatam personally from my father, Vyasadeva. And there is a connection with Parampara. Everyone needs Parampara. Even Krishna had Parampara. Lord Chaitanya has Parampara. Lord Ramachandra, he had Guru. And he respected the Brahmanas. One time, Lord Chaitanya, he had a fever on the way to Gaya. He contacted the fever. So his disciples who were with him, or his followers, they wanted to give him all kinds of treatment, but nothing worked. And Lord Chaitanya told, I want to have the water with the water that wash the feet of a Brahmana Vaishnava. So his servants, they went, or his devotees, they went and looked and found the Brahmana and they washed his feet and brought it to Lord Chaitanya. That time his name was still Nimai Pandit. And they offered it to Lord Chaitanya. He was drinking happily this water from the feet, food wash of a pure Brahmana. And immediately fever disappeared. In this way, Lord Chaitanya showed, although he is the Lord himself, he becomes subservient to his devotees. The devotees are his life and soul. He shows his avatsalya, his great affection to his brahmanas and devotees, Vaishnavas. They're his life and soul. They're his medicine. So anyway, I will later on speak a little more about that visit of Gaya. Now we are reading the prayer by Sutta Goswami to Shukadev. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him, Shuka, the spiritual master of all sages, the son of Vyasadeva, who out of his great compassion for those gross materialists who struggle to cross over the darkest regions of material existence, spoke this most confidential supplement to the cream of Vedic knowledge, after having personally assimilated it by experience. So that means he experienced this knowledge. He was a rasagya. Shuka mukha amritam drava samyutam. It is said that the Bhagavatam became sweeter. It was already sweet. The ripened fruit from the Vedic desire tree. Nigama kalpataror, dalitam palam, shuka mukha amritam drava samyutam. But by the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, this sweet fruit, like a mango, became sweeter. So here we go a little through the purport. In this prayer, Sutta Goswami practically summarizes the complete instruction of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural supplementary commentary on the Vedanta Sutras or Brahma Sutras. I spoke about it before. It's a little introduction. It's the essence of the Vedas. The Vedanta Sutras or the Brahma Sutras were compiled by Vyasadeva with a view to presenting just the cream of Vedic knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary to this cream, on this cream. Srila Shukadeva Goswami was a thoroughly realized master of the Vedanta Sutra, and consequently, he also personally realized the commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam. That was after when he came back. He learned all this Vedanta and this commentary to Vedanta, Srimad Bhagavatam, from his father, Vyasadeva. And just to show his boundless mercy upon bewildered materialistic men who want to cross completely over nations, he recited for the first time this confidential knowledge. So now you heard it. Bhagavatam for the first time, the original speaker of the Bhagavatam was not Vyasadeva, it was Shukadeva. Because Shukadeva, he could completely realize the Bhagavatam. It is said Vyasadeva maybe or maybe not completely realized the purpose of Bhagavatam. But Shukadeva and Lord Shiva, Mahadev, they completely experienced and realized the import of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, it is stated that when Shukadeva Goswami spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit, many great sages and from all over the universe appeared. They were so eager to hear this historic narration of Srimad Bhagavatam. It was spoken first time in public to Maharaj Parikshit, and they also were present. And who was there also present? Narad Muni and Srila Vyasadeva himself. Even they thought this is we never heard this kind of nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam as it emanated from the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami. It was so sweet, it was so nectarian even to them. Of course, that proves also the nature of the Bhagavatam. Svadu svadu pade pade. Vayam tuna vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame yachrinvatam rasa gyanam svadu svadu pade pade. The sages of Naimisharanya. I spoke yesterday in German about this verse here in Switzerland. So it states that the sages of Naimisharanya, they ask 6 questions, original questions to Suta Goswami. And they were very eager to hear from him about Krishna's appearance, about Leela avatars, about purpose of Krishna and Balaram appearing in this world, and about the various incarnations of him. And although we heard already many times about it, but we are never become tired of it to hear more. We always want to hear more. It's like somebody who has a good appetite, he can eat. And somebody who has less appetite, he's wondering why he can eat so much. Yes, because he has so much an appetite. it's rasa. Huh? That means his digestion is working, fire is there, and therefore you can digest and you can eat more. If you imitate that, well, then maybe not so good for you. You get maybe sick. But somebody who has really rasa, who really likes, who really is eager to taste Krishna Katha, Srimatan Svakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana, he becomes never tired to hear about it. Although he heard more and more. He heard already many times, but he likes to hear more and more. So you can read Gita again and again. You can read Bhagavatam again and again. It's always new and fresh. And we know Narad Muni is nectar hunter. He's wherever there is an opportunity to hear from about the Lord, and where the great devotees are, where there's discussion about Krishna, Narada immediately comes. Therefore, Prabhupada told, one time when there was a lecture, I think it was in London, not many people came. And the devotees first thought, oh, this was a failure. This was not nicely arranged. This is a flop, this program. Not many people came to hear Prabhupada. Prabhupada saw they were very sad. They even excused themselves, for that not many came. And Prabhupada said, what do you mean? Narad Muni was here. Vyasadeva was here. Brahma, all the great sages, they were there. Because wherever Bhagavatam or about Krishna is spoken, these great personalities are there. You maybe don't see them, but they're there. So, therefore, in the presence of Shukadev Goswami, Vyasadeva and also Narada, they thought, oh, it's like I hear the Bhagavatam the first time. It was something fresh and new. That shows that Krishna and Krishna topics about Krishna is always fresh. It never becomes stale, never becomes boring, it never becomes polluted. Especially if the message is repeated and spoken without false motivation. Ahaituki apradiyata yayatma suprasidati. Then the self becomes satisfied. Even your mind, in case you can consider him also yourself, also will become happy and satisfied. Because we are not against the mind. Mind is a very important instrument to become Krishna conscious. Therefore, many devotees, they pray to the mind. They don't want to destroy the mind. They pray to the mind. My dear mana, pacha hure mana, pacha hure mana, shinandanandana. Please, my mind, focus yourself, your concentration on Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. And engage all your senses, hearing, chanting, remembering everything in his service. The many Manashikshas, Raghunath Das Goswami, and also the Narottam Das Thakur, about Nityananda Prabhu, it's also a Manashiksha, Nitai Pada Kamala. So yeah, also praise to the mind, please focus your mind on the lotus feet of Nitai, Nityananda Ram. Otherwise, your life is useless. If you not worship Nityananda and you don't know him, you live in ignorance, your life is wasted. Although you may be very proud of high education, but it's all useless. If you don't become a devotee of Nityananda, if you not become a devotee of Krishna's dearest servant and devotee and representative, Nityananda Ram, the original guru. Only by his mercy we can actually become or receive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Krishna. So therefore, one should not condemn the mind. One should give him the opportunity to hear about Krishna. Then he will also become happy and satisfied, because any other topic what the mind and the senses, because the mind is the sixth sense, the central sense, whatever topics we hear only lead to confusion and dissatisfaction and to bondage to this material world. But if the mind is filled with Krishna consciousness, then even that self will be satisfied, will become happy and peaceful. So we continue to read here. There is no point in arguing that a materialistic man can be happy. No materialistic creature, be he the be he the great Brahma or an insignificant ant, can be happy. Everyone tries to make a permanent plan for happiness, but everyone is baffled by the laws of material nature. Therefore, the materialistic world is called the darkest region of God's creation. Yet, the unhappy materialist can get out of it simply by desiring to get out. But unfortunately, they are so foolish that they don't want to escape and to go out of it. Therefore, they are compared to the camel who relishes thorny twigs because he likes the taste of the twigs mixed with blood. He does not realize that it is his own blood and that his tongue is being cut by the thorns. Similarly, to the materialist, his own blood is as sweet as honey. And although he is always harassed by his own material creations, he does not wish to escape. One also calls this chewing the chewed. Such materialists are called karmis. Out of hundreds of thousands of karmis, only a few may feel tired of material engagement and desire to get out of the labyrinth. Such intelligent persons are called jnanis. So that's the first result of Bhagavad hearing. Therefore, the Bhagavatam is meant for those who are desiring liberation or who are already liberated. Those who are still attached to sense gratification, they may be not so much inclined, although it's also beneficial for them, but they still cannot recognize it and appreciate it in the beginning. But if they regularly, like a medicine, if you regularly take it, then it gradually will cure you and makes you, give you the taste. Like jaundice disease person cannot relish sugar. So, but by taking the sugar candy, gradually he becomes cured from the jaundice disease and can taste again the natural sweetness. So Bhagavatam is meant for the Paramahamsas, for the liberated souls. So that's the first effect of the, that's we hear later on, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, also commentator of Bhagavatam in the Gaudiya Vaishnava line, is emphasizing other does that the Bhagavatam, the first, it's actually the first result, but it's actually a secondary effect. The first effect, main effect, the mukha. There's always a mukha and then a secondary effect or a by effect. By effect of Bhagavad Gita is you attain liberation, easy. It's already attained. That's already in the beginning of Bhagavatam explained. Savai pumsham parodharmo yato bhaktir adakshache ahaitukya pratiyata yayatma supersidati. Also other verse. So, this one. Vasudev Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayochita Chanayati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam. If one hears about Vasudev Katha or Krishna Katha, then liberation, vairagya, or detachment from material identifications, that binds it with this material world, vairagya, and vidya, knowledge, will become a byfactor. So knowledge and that means vidya, and the result of vidya is liberation. It's a secondary result of Bhagavad Gita. The first result of Bhagavad Gita we will hear later. It's actually development of love to Krishna or bhakti. So here, the Vedanta Sutra is directed to such jnanis. But Srila Vyasadeva, being the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, could foresee the misuse of the Vedanta Sutra by unscrupulous men And therefore, he personally supplemented the Vedanta Sutra with the Bhagavad Purana. It is clearly said that this Bhagavatam is the original commentary on the Brahma Sutras. Srila Vyasadeva also instructed the Bhagavatam to his own son, Srila Shukadeva Goswami, who was already at the liberated stage of transcendence. Srila Shukadeva realized it personally and then explained it. By the mercy of Srila Shukadeva, the Bhagavad Vedanta Sutra is available for all those sincere souls who want to get out of material existence. Srimad Bhagavatam is the one unrivaled commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Sripad Shankaracharya intentionally did not touch it because he knew that the natural commentary would be difficult for him to surpass. He could not defeat it. He could not argue against it. Because from the very beginning to the end and in the middle, everything is pointing out direction, Krishna or Vasudeva. So he could not comment on, he didn't touch it. He wrote his Chariraka Bhasya, and his so-called followers deprecated the Bhagavatam as some new presentation. New, recently appearing. After the main is Vedanta, the Bhagavatam is something new. It's a new creation. One should not be misled by such propaganda directed against the Bhagavatam by the Mayavadi school. From this introductory shloka, the beginning student should know that Srimad Bhagavatam is the only transcendental literature meant for those who are Paramahamsas and completely freed from the material disease called malice. You know what is malice? Malice means somebody who is bad and who only has a bad mentality and always evil, thinking evil also for others. That's malice. Opposite of malice is compassion or mercy and love. But because materialists have no real love, they only think about their own sense gratification, their egomans. So therefore, they must be malice. They're how say, bad towards others. The Mayavadis are envious of the personality of Godhead, despite Sripad Shankaracharya's admission that Narayana, the personality of Godhead, is above the material creation. Narayana Paravyaktat. That's his slogan. The envious Mayavadi cannot have access to the Bhagavatam, but those who are really anxious to get out of this material existence may take shelter of this Bhagavatam, because it is uttered or spoken by the liberated soul Srila Shukadeva Goswami. It is the transcendental torchlight by which one can see perfectly the transcendental absolute truth realized as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Vadanti Tatvata Vidas. That verse 1 to 11. So by these Bhagavad signs, one can realize step by step Brahman, Paramatma, and the Bhagavan feature. So Srila, I already pointed out about Vishwanath Chakravarti commentary. I have him here also. He says that the reason for Shukadev inspiring Sutta is his mercy. He should not only deliver Parikshit, but he should also deliver all the persons born in this world in the future. Not only in the present or the one person. Why should the Bhagavatam only be helping for one person and for the rest not? Otherwise, how it can be declared as the emperor of books? Grantaraj, Bhagavatam, Kichai. At that moment, Sutta remembered all the future generations. coming in the future Kali Yuga. And for those who desire to cross Ati Tirshatam, the dense Andam, ignorance, Tama, the great ease, Ati. This Bhagavatam causes revelation, Deepam, like a torchlight, deep of the Jiva, Adhyatma. He who controls Adi, the elements of the body, such as Mahatattva. Mahatattva is the combined reservoir of all material ingredients: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, and like that. 24 elements. And all these combined is contained in the Mahatattva. And this is the exists in all our body. The whole Mahatattva is also here. All these ingredients. So that's the cause or source of material existence, the Mahatattva and all its ingredients. That's according to Sankhya from Kapila Dev. You can study and read. This refers to the secondary result of the Bhagavatam, destruction of ignorance. So that means the secondary or byproduct of the Bhagavatam is destruction of ignorance, tamasa, for the desires for liberation. For the desires for liberation. For the pure devotees, Bhagavatam contains the essence of all the Shrutis, of all the Upanishads. And taking another meaning of Shruti, Bhagavatam is the essence for those who relish with the ear, Shruti, and hearing. No sound behind.
Колко се саатија?
This is indicated by this verse 113, where Bhagavatam it is said to be the ripened fruit of the tree of the Vedas. 113. That means this verse Sukha Mukha Amritam Trava Samyutam, that verse. So it's the ripened fruit of the desire tree of the Vedas. For Shukadev as well, Bhagavatam revealed the power of abundant rasa, anubhavam. Thus it is said, Svasukha nibrita chetastad vyudastan yabhavo yachita ruchira lila krishna sarastadiyam yatanuta kripaya yastatva dipam puranam tam akila vrichinabhyam vyasa sunum natosmi. From the 12th canto, 12th chapter, text 69. I also quoted last time, but I think you all don't remember. So we read it again. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, the son of Vyasadev, Shukadev Goswami, who destroys of all sins and whose thought is fixed in his own bliss with no distraction, became attracted to the pastimes of Krishna and mercifully spread the Bhagavatam, which describes Krishna and reveals the rasa of his pastimes. 12th canto, 12th chapter, text 69. It is also further said, Harer Gunakshipta Matir. His mind also became attracted to the qualities of the Lord by studying Bhagavatam. 1:7-11. Parinishthito pi nairgunya uttama shloka lilaya grihita cheta rachashe akhyanam yat adhitavan. O saintly king, I was certainly situated perfectly in transcendence, yet I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastimes of the Lord, who is described by enlightened verses. Uttama shloka. Or Svanubhavam can mean that which produced Shukadev's power. This explanation indicates that Bhagavatam made Shukadev superior to all other sages. Ekam means incomparable, without a second. Shukadev became the guru of all the sages, such sages like Narada and Vyasa, who were seated in the assembly of Parikshit, and taught them the Bhagavatam as if it had not been heard before. The Bhagavatam must be taught to them as well. The Tattva Sandarbha has pointed out that. So that means even Vyasa and Narada get benefited to hear Bhagavatam. So that means even if you're a great Acharya or Guru or a Bhagavatam speaker, if you're present from others who are also, speaking, then you also get benefit and can always learn. Even those who are speakers, they listen from others, because in this way you can learn, they can get more realization and experience, and in this way become more conversant with the aspects of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And in this way, Krishna actually becomes manifested, as Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, Machita Matkata Paranas Pothayantas Parasparam Kathayantas Jamam Nityam Tushanti Cha Ramante Cha. So my devotees, when they always have greed, eagerness to associate with devotees and to hear. Topic is to hear about Krishna and about devotional service, making plans, how to serve him better and better, improve our seva. And that's the meaning of Ishtagoshti. Nowadays, Ishtagoshti becomes more like my opinion, your opinion, like a politics. It's not very interesting and mostly leads to frustration. Therefore, in many temples and places, Ishtagoshti was given up. Because devotees who want to make Ishtagoshti, discussion amongst each other, exchange, you have to be advanced. Neophyte cannot have Ishtagoshti. Neophyte should only keep them out and listen. Nothing else. And only if you listen enough and something is starting, some realization, some urge to speak something, what you heard, then one can speak. So we should not be so eager to speak, we should be more eager to hear. Like I think I told you many times the devotees asked me, preach when I joined. In many years ago in the 70s. So they, but I was not so much eager to speak. I was more eager to listen. I like to hear when others were speaking. So it took me quite, how we say, to overcome my ego and my and become to be bold enough and to speak about or instruct somebody or tell somebody about Krishna or about devotional service. So I was very hesitant, and even many years later. So I think the regular lectures only started when it came to Croatia. Before Croatia, and the first time when I came to Croatia, it was in 1985. I think nobody of you were around at that time. And then in 1987, I came first time to Belgrade. And Bosnia and all these places, Macedonia, this was all after that. So 89, in beginning of 90s. So I went to Bosnia and to Macedonia and Slovenia. Oh, Slovenia was also maybe earlier in 87 or 86. But first time in former Yugoslavia, in Zagreb, I was in 1985. Long time ago already, yeah. and there actually I started to, I was forced to speak because I was a Sankirtan devotee, a Sankirtan leader, and I was invited because as a book distributor, I became invited to speak in many places, especially in Germany at that time, then also in Scandinavia, and Italy also, and then also to America 4 or 5 times, and other places. But actually, to regular speaking, well, before 85, maybe from the time when I joined, 74 to 85, these 9 years, I maybe gave a handful of classes. Handful, 9 years. So only when I came to Croatia and then also to Serbia. So that was actually my birth of speaking about more openly about Krishna and giving classes about it. In smaller group, of course, I spoke, I would say, Sankirtan meetings, but Bhagavatam class, very rarely, or Bhagavad Gita. Because I thought, what is the use of speaking? I always hear Prabhupada, what's the use of your speech? Better you distribute the books. And if they buy a book, that's the best preaching. So therefore, I mostly preached through book distribution. But then later on, I traveled. And then, of course, I came to Russia in 91. It's now, or 92, 91, 92, now 30 years I'm coming to Russia. And there, of course, I traveled a lot and I went to so many places and so many devotees, and they were all nectar hunters. Actually, Serbia and Croatia also in the beginning, they were so fired up, so enthusiastic, that they liked, the kirtans and lectures, and themselves, they were speaking all the time. I was amazed how much Yugoslavian people have topics to speak. I'm not normally speaking much. Nowadays I speak, I speak a little more now. But I was always a bit, maybe you infected me. But the eagerness of the devotees, they make them fired up, to also speak more and to, as I pointed out yesterday in the class here, that, and also in the morning and in the evening. And yesterday I had 2 classes, so that Maitreya was very pleased, very happy to meet Vidura, who asked him so many questions, over 40 questions in total. Yeah. He cannot even sometimes remember one question. Or we only take 1 or 2. Therefore, I always say, don't ask me 2 or 3 questions, only 1, and then the second, and then the third. Not everything packed in 1. But Vidura, because he was a sage, he could remember everything, and so he always gave the essence. He didn't give answers so much on 1 question. For example, the answer on Vidura's first question, how the suffering of people can be relieved. The sage Maitreya only gave 1 line to hear Srimad Bhagavad Purana. That solves all problems. So Kaviraj Goswami says to concentrate 1 big subject in short, this is real education. This is real intelligence. So therefore, the sage he was so thankful to the questions of Vidura, and he thought actually Vidura was sent to me to deliver me. Although he was a stone-aged sage, known all over. He was disciple of father of Vyasadeva, Parashara Muni. And he had a great disciplic succession coming down from the Kumaras and the Sankarshan. So he was very knowledgeable, and very realized, and very deep. But he thought, oh, I practically could not speak about the glories of that what I know. But Vidura, he is churning it out from me. He wants to know it, so I have to speak it. Normally, the sages are munis. You know what is muni? Mauna. They don't speak because they're only absorbed in their knowledge or in their realizations of Atma, pure consciousness. You know, and they're happy there. You know. And although they have so much knowledge, they don't speak it because many times they're not qualified audience who can receive the knowledge. Because we should not throw pearls to the swine, to the pigs. The nectar you should give to the qualified person, not to the unqualified. They cannot appreciate it. And for the sages, mostly because they have they don't know qualified persons so much, so they don't speak. They keep it for themselves. Therefore, when these sages then meet a curious devotee who is really sincere, eager to know, and he becomes so inspired and says, only by your mercy that you appeared before me, I could speak now to you about all this knowledge what I have, what I got. And in this way you liberated me. One sense we are more or less liberated if you have the knowledge for yourself, but you become more dear to Krishna, more liberated because you become more elevated near to Krishna's lotus feet if you speak about Krishna. To a deserving person who can appreciate that what you reveal to him or her. So that's the serious topic, and it is full of importance at any time, and it's the only thing that we have to discuss and hear and remember and act about is this Bhagavad Katha, this Krishna Katha, or Gora Katha. So now I give you a little Gora Katha also. Sorry that I make a little longer today, but you're already used. Because today is Shripad Ishvara Puri, Tirobhav, disappearance day. Ishvara Puri's disciple was one of the disciples of Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is the seed of the ecstatic love to Krishna that Lord Chaitanya planted in this world, or let to appear in this world. Because before Krishna or Lord Chaitanya comes to this world, he sends his superiors, his mother, his father, his guru, his param guru, his elder friends, also Advaitacharya, who calls him, his Sada Shiva. Tomorrow is Shiva Ratri. So this Ishvara Puri He was a servant of Madhavendra Puri, because Lord Chaitanya accepted the initiation from Ishvara Puri. Actually, the first meeting from Ishvara Puri, he was the most dear disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri gave him all the blessings because of his service attitude towards the spiritual master, Guru Bhakti. So he gave him all blessings. So Shripad Ishvara Puri came in first time in disguise to Navadvip when Lord Chaitanya was still in his naughty Brahmana pastime as a Nimai Pandit. He had his own school at that time already. And he was famous because he defeated many scholars, like Keshava Kashmiri and others also. Everyone he challenged. But as soon he saw this special person, Ishvara Puri, although he was in disguise, immediately he respected him. He saw, oh, he must be a great personality. And he offered his respect to him. He didn't challenge him. The first person he didn't challenge. Before he challenged everyone. So there was immediately a relationship, some spark appeared between this meeting between Guru and Shishya. Although Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, he became Shishya, he became disciple. Because he knew without receiving the mercy of Prema Bhakta, pure devotee of Krishna, I cannot come out of my Gyan, platform. And at that time, Lord Chaitanya, as Nimai Pandit, he played mostly the role of somebody who is very much attached to Gyan, study of scriptures and argumenting about it. But when he met his guru, he didn't dare to argue with him. He immediately respected him and offered his respect to him. And the guru also offered his respect to him. He thought, oh, I heard about you. You're famous as Nimai Pandit. I actually came to see you because I have a book. Ishvara Puri compiled a book, poetry book about Krishna Lila. So I actually came to you because I know about your scholarliness. So I want to present this book to you. Can you maybe overlook it and see if there is some fault in it? You can maybe correct. If I have some mistake in it, in grammar or in anything. Rasabas or so he was, Lord Chaitanya was looking at the book and he told to Ishvara Puri, actually in a Vaishnava literature, there cannot be any mistake. Even if it is faulty, it is still accepted and pure, because it's the bhav. It is written by the heart, emotion, and love of a devotee. Even if such literature has some fault in grammar or so in it, is still accepted. Therefore, we should not. I don't want to correct your book. You should leave it as it is. It is perfect. But he insisted, Ishvara Puri, no, please look. And then Lord Chaitanya agreed, Nimai Pandit agreed. He was looking at it. Give me some time. Tomorrow I will tell you. He was looking at it, and then he actually found one mistake, so-called mistake, in grammar, only in grammar. And then he told to his guru next morning when he came, so you found something? So, yeah, I found something. Actually, instead of this pronunciation of this syllable, you should change it in that case. Ishvara Puri was thinking about it. First he thought, yeah, okay. But then he was thinking over it. And then after a while he thought, no, it is not like that. It is as it is written. And he proved to him, that actually that what I have written, it's right. And in this way, he defeated Lord Chaitanya, Nimai Pandit. And Nimai Pandit understood, yeah, he's my guru, because only the guru can defeat me. It's not good if I defeat the guru. Guru should defeat me. That's the proud of a disciple. So anyway, Ishvara Puri stayed for some time in Mayapur. Then he went again on his pilgrimage. But Lord Chaitanya never forgets that person, Ishvara Puri. And Ishvara Puri never forget that person, Nimai Pandit. He actually understood he must be the Lord himself, or an expansion or something, very divine appearing in this world. So one time Lord Chaitanya, actually that was in the time where he thought, I have to go to Gaya. Gaya is a famous pilgrimage place because it's the footprint of Lord Vishnu there. Therefore, it's called Pada Padma. Pada Padma. Or Vishnu Pada. The footprint of Vishnu is there, imprinted in the stone, and is worshipped since time immemorial in that holy place. And it is that place where every Hindu is going to offer pinda. That means prasad, to sweet rice, and offering to the departed forefathers. So Lord Chaitanya went in that pretense to that pilgrimage place, to Gaya. So when he came to Gaya, he got a darshan of the lotus print or footprint of Lord Vishnu, and he offered his obeisances. The Brahmanas non-stop, they offer bathing water and flowers and garlands and milk and fragrances over these feet, and then they declare, so just take darshan of these wonderful feet whom Lord Shiva always carries on his head. The same feet are worshipped by Mother Lakshmi Devi. It's the same feet that Bali Maharaj carried on his head. Shiva has it always in his heart and in his mind. So they glorified the lotus feet of the Lord, and encouraged the people, to also offer something, flowers and water. Like tomorrow is Shivaratri, then everyone goes to Mahadev, Kopeshwar, Mahadev, to Vrindavan, and then you can bathe him with the water and bring flower garlands and offer your prayers and your worship, and touch also the linga like that. So that's very purifying event. So that's that's one purpose to go on pilgrimage, to go visiting a tirtha, to see, get darshan and have worship of the deities and shilas, representations of the Lord in those holy places. That's the meaning of holy place. But then that same place, Lord Chaitanya met Shripad Ishvara Puri again. by chance, that means by arrangement of the Supreme Lord, they met again in Gaya, in that holy place. And Lord Chaitanya, when he saw his spiritual master, he immediately offered his obeisances to him. And Ishvara Puri embraced him and he remembered him. Oh, I always remember you. You're from Mayapur when I visited you. Since that time, you never left my consciousness and my heart. You always remained in that place. So I'm very happy to see you. And Lord Chaitanya said, my purpose of visiting a Tirtha pilgrimage place is now fulfilled by seeing and worshipping your feet, your holy lotus feet of the great Vaishnava Thakur. So, so there was a very emotional meeting and words. Next day when he visited Ishvara Puri again, and Lord Chaitanya decided, I want to beg him and ask him for initiation, for Diksha. And his guru told him, I'm ready to give everything to you. So I immediately initiated him in the Gopal mantra. And that's actually the time when the life of Lord Chaitanya of Nimai Pandit became completely changed. He became completely ecstatic. He was not anymore a proud scholar. He was not challenging anyone anymore. There were constant tears of ecstasy in his mind and in his eyes, because he accepted the mood from his guru, who had received it from his guru, Madhavendra Puri. This ecstatic mood of separation of Prananath, of Krishna, the beloved. So another day, Lord Chaitanya was preparing, he was cooking, prepared some prasadam. And Ishvara Puri, he came visiting. Then immediately Lord Chaitanya invited him, please accept prasadam from me. But Ishvara Puri told, but you only cooked a little, it's not just enough for yourself. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, you eat first, I can prepare a little more and I can eat later. So he fed Ishvara Puri the food what Lord Chaitanya himself was cooking. He offered to Ishvara Puri, who was sitting there, and he served him. And then he cooked again for himself and accepted some prasadam. So anyway, from that time on, the ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya increased day by day. He had some devotees from Mayapur with him, and he told them, because I'm now so much eager to meet Krishna, I'm fed up with this material world. I don't want to go back to Mayapur. I don't want to stay here anymore. I want to go to Mathura, to Vrindavan, to meet Krishna there. His followers were, of course, very sad. Oh, we come with you. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, you should remain here or go to Mayapur and let me go myself, because one should not go in big crowds to a holy place, especially not to Vrindavan. Otherwise, one cannot enter bhajan there and do your meditation and worship and chanting and in a concentrated way, because you always have somebody around you for whom you have care and who is maybe in different mood, not in the mood what you like to absorb. So therefore it is a handicap to go with many who are at least not with somebody who has another mind than you. So So therefore, secretly, Lord Chaitanya, he left next morning direction Mathura. He left all his followers behind, the devotees from Mayapur, and he went direction Mathura. But then on the way, he was constantly in tears and in eagerness, in separation to meet Krishna. Was calling out, "Oh my boy Krishna, oh my friend Krishna, oh my lover." He was in all the rasas and all rasa bhavas he experienced, and he went on the way to Vrindavan. But then one voice in the sky. It's not clearly if it is if there were some demigod voices, invisible voice told Nimai, you should not go to Vrindavan now. It's not the time now. You should return to Mayapur. Later on, the time will come when you can go to Vrindavan, but not now. But now you have still a mission. You still have to do something. You have to deliver the people and give them the Krishna prema. So don't only think about you and go to Vrindavan and save yourself and be happy there. Lord Chaitanya accepted this voice, as a direct guidance from above. And he returned to Gaya, met his followers and went to his devotees from Mayapur and went with them back to Mayapur. When he arrived in Mayapur, nobody could recognize Nimai Pandit anymore because he was like a changed person. He was not anymore Pandit. He was only a devotee, always with tears in eyes, and always very humble, meek and humble, always begging for mercy and offering respect to all the Vaishnavas. Some of the Parama Vaishnavas, like Srivas Thakur, were very happy when they saw Lord Chaitanya in that mood. Gadadhar Pandit also. Some they became a little bewildered, especially Mother Sachi. She thought, this is my son. It seems to be that he got some mental disturbance. So maybe he has too much vata, he got too much from the traveling, too much vata in the head. And she consulted with some Ayurvedic doctors and also with Srivas Thakur later on. So maybe he should get some massage, oil massage, Shira oil, and to calm down his vata, that he can become normal again, not so much overpowered by emotions. Because if emotions go too much in the head, can create disturbances, But she could not understand that these are transcendental emotions. So when she came to Srivas and told him about these emotions of her son, Srivas told Mata Sachi, these emotions, this is something very great. They're not ordinary emotions, they're ecstatic love to Krishna. I would pray for it, and be very happy if I would have a feeling of such kind of emotions. So you can calm down, don't be afraid about your son. He's all right, he's in the best mood. And so on and so on. So I think I better stop now here. Bhaktikranta and all devotees, thank you for listening attentively, even without noise, any laughing behind. And maybe you have some questions or comments.
Prabhu, hoćeš ti prvo da posliš ili moja malenkost?
Tvoja malenkost.
Imam pitanje za Rohinisutu. U ovom komentaru je bilo da je Šrimad Bhagavatam namenjen za osobe koje su oslobođene zlobe.
So Guru Maharaj, you have stated that Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for the persons who are free from malice.
I
Da.
ponekad živo biće može da primeti da je ono samo ta zlobna osoba.
And sometimes a living entity can notice that he himself is that malice person.
I da li možemo, u stvari možemo to vidjeti ponekad da mi odbijamo u stvari da slušamo Šrimad Bhagavatam.
And we can see that sometimes we reject to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam.
Da li možemo iz toga izvući zaključak da je to rezultirano našom zlobom i koji je način da je se oslobodimo, da razvijemo taj ukus za Bhagavatam?
So is it proper that we conclude that this is the result of our malice? And what is the way to remove this malice from ourselves? The question by Pandunat.
Yeah, I recognize his voice. Yeah, this malice or bad intention, if you can recognize that in yourself, this is actually good, because there are many who don't recognize it, although they're actually malice, they're evil-minded, but they don't recognize it because they consider themselves, I'm right, the others are wrong. It's the other's mistake, the other's fault. It's not my fault. So therefore, a real malice person who is diseased by malice or by fault finding and by evil acts and thinkings and like that, is like a disease. Very difficult to treat. Like if you have a disease and as long as you don't recognize that you have a disease, you don't consult with the doctor and ask for treatment. So as long as somebody who is really bad in mind and in action don't regrets and realizes his faulty nature and that he creates so much trouble to others and even to himself and even to his near ones, then nobody can help him. He has to realize it and then consult, become, I would say, somehow other humble and ask for help from those who can help you. Okay, if you have a disease, you go to a certain doctor who can maybe help you. So you're approaching the Vaishnavas and the spiritual master who can help you. So that's the only way. Because if you are keeping this bad mentality with us, and even if you sometimes hear Bhagavatam, it will not change. It will only increase your badness. So what is important, therefore, is to have a service attitude, that one surrender to Krishna, to Vaishnavas, to Guru. It's not your life anymore. It's like Lord Chaitanya himself, he fully surrendered to Guru, and though he's the Supreme Lord himself, he gave his life in the hands of Guru as his eternal servant. So to overcome this false ego of our adi pollution in this material world, and that what actually anchors us and keeps us in this material world, we cannot come out of it on our own force or effort. So Krishna Katha is nice, but we have to, it's emphasized to have Krishna Katha and Bhagavad Katha in the association of devotees in a service attitude. Nastaprishu abhatreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya, to serve the two Bhagavat, the book and the person Bhagavat. And as soon you have a service attitude or to the Vaishnavas, and you come in a humble way, not in the enjoying spirit or controlling spirit, Ishvara complex spirit, but in a devotional spirit. Then you get the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Then your life will become perfect. Okay, Panduram.
Thank you.
Like,
Guru Maharaj, here is Mahapaurushika. He have also a question.
okay.
Thank you, dear Gurudev, for a really, really inspiring lecture. And I was thinking during your lecture how I will be fortunate if you are here and I could try to steal 5 minutes of your time to tell you, to ask you something. But Rohinisuta Prabhu, he a little bit pushed me to ask. I just want to say that few days we tried to go out for book distribution, and I was really feeling on many levels and deep levels that some churning is happening about what we try to do it, and especially this verse when it is said that by his causeless mercy, Srila Shukadeva Goswami, he presented this confidential knowledge to these confused materialistic people. And also, I remember in commentary, it is said that materialistic people, they could get out of this world only by the power of their own will, but they're unwilling to get out of it.
Yeah.
So what I wanted, I was really thinking of the moments where I was able to go and show the books. For example, I was thinking how you said that if you look in the mirror, what we will see. And I was thinking how I'm a confused person. That's the first thing. And it is in verse, it is said that Shukadeva Goswami, he tried to help to confuse materialistic people. So I realized that I'm confused. Also, what I have realized is what we are trying to say in these few moments should be really right, that we don't say wrong thing. On some things we need to keep our mouth shut, because you also once said that I speak a lot, and I was thinking what to say that can inspire a person to take to book, and that I'm not one that I'm stumbling block on it. So many things happen within myself on those moments. And what I could ask you now is if you can say something. I feel that it's much deeper than many years back when I was doing this constantly. Now I'm thinking they don't will to get out of this material world, especially when they open the book. Sometimes they open the book and what they read in few sentences, it's like that it's really confidential. And then I try to say something that it's my realization why they could try to take the book, although it's complicated if they read few sentences. So really, I would like to ask you if you can say something about when we go and try to give them the books, although they are confused, they don't will to get out of this material world, this knowledge is confidential, and what we could do of our best that they could take the book.
As servants of Srila Prabhupada, we don't have to think. That's his order, his desire, so you just do it. The result is not in your hand. Nimitta matam bhavasa vasachin. Krishna also told Arjuna, it's your right to fight, but the result, outcome of it, it's not in your hands. So we only have to execute the order. And it's not an impossible order. Of course, it's impossible if you are not devoted. If you have not faith in Guru, then it's impossible. Then even the possible becomes impossible. But if you follow Guru order, then the impossible can become possible. then you will be amazed, you know, if you become instrumental of Guru's and Krishna's hand in distributing this knowledge, how to see how the people change in front of your eyes. They maybe don't understand everything. Even we don't understand everything. Even I have to sometimes say, oh, so many things I don't understand from Bhagavatam. Then I try to figure out in my speculative way, but and in the end I have to give it up. And then I say, okay, let it be. Let's go on. Prabhupada saying, even if you don't understand, go on reading. So that faith you have to have as a devotee or follower of Srila Prabhupada, and it's not something heavy mission or something that you have to attack somebody. It's actually or kill somebody. It's a sweet mission. Actually, you have something most valuable to give to the people that don't even know their good fortune, but you have to know. You have to be convinced. If you're not convinced and bewildered, then what to speak of them to whom you speak, they must be even more bewildered. Because of your presence, you may be bewildered and more. But if you're convinced yourself and enthusiastic and happy person, then they will like it. Even they don't read the book and they maybe are not so much interested, but they like you. That's what I say always. They don't buy the book, they buy you, the devotee. And just by this act, you know, of association with the devotee and liking a devotee, giving a donation and touching a book and taking a book at home and keeping the book at home, that's already the first advancement. Like I remembered yesterday, I only told to Goranga in the class I gave yesterday in German that we had in our neighborhood in my childhood a dog eater who was killing his own dog. Maybe some of you have heard it, Anamali. You heard it? So there was this dog eater who was, he killed his own dog, and this was a big, how we say, dissatisfaction. Everyone was speaking how he can kill his own dog. You know, he's our best friend. He's in your home, and you kill him and even eat him. Actually, I told to Goranga Priya yesterday, and I only remembered later on that actually I met that person many years later when I was a devotee, when I was in that city where I grew up. I met him on Sankirtan in front of Migros. And I gave him a book, and he took a book. So, and I think many people at that time who were not dog eaters, they maybe didn't got the mercy to get a book and to meet devotees and get a book from them and give a donation. Yeah. But that one and a few others from my people, what I knew from my childhood time or youth time, actually I remember only a few who received the books. Many even of my friends, I either didn't met them because they were either dead or living somewhere else, or were not fortunate enough to accept the book, even though they were friends from my time, before the devotee time. And somebody who was practically, I always thought, oh, he's a heavy guy and he's a dog eater and killing his own dog. And then another one who was my boss, under whom I worked. And I always thought, oh, he's a little heavy. But then when I met him, he was very sweet and he took a book. So you never know who takes a book and who is not taking a book. And you never know what actually happened with the book. If that person reads the book or tries to read, maybe understand something, maybe something not, or only half or partially. Like many of our devotees understand things partially, you know. But they're still hanging around and practice Krishna consciousness, even partially, and even with even surrender, with devotion and enthusiasm. So it's not always needed to understand completely everything. Even partially understanding something or accepting something can change your life. Even one word, one line can change. It's Prabhupada's words. So we just have faith in that. That's our service. That's the mission that we received. So we cannot challenge it. We cannot speculate. We don't know better. Otherwise, you are not servant. You are controller. You know better, and then you cannot get mercy. Then you cannot become instrumental. And if you don't become instrumental, the impossible cannot be possible. Then it will remain impossible. In one sense, we have a mission impossible, but this impossible is not existing in the Vaishnava dictionary, in the Bhagavatam, as we hear many times. So it is possible by devotion, by Lord's mercy, and by our surrender and our faith. And many, they maybe also gave the book to somebody else, or maybe died, and somebody else will I would say, heritage these books and get these books, and then they become inspired by it. That's also happened. So so far that we cannot control. We can only control to go out or not to go out. To surrender or not surrender. That's your free will. Otherwise, everything is under control. Okay, Paurushika.
Thank you very much, dear Gurudev. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Vrindavan, Vinodini, I see you. You look very absorbed in something, in your thoughts.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, obeisance. You see right that you told Guru is the only one who can defeat his disciple, even if he's Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Ishvara Puri. So it is some illustration of my position before you. Yes, I was thinking about...
Even Srila Prabhupada told my Guru, I had so many arguments towards my Guru, and why not to surrender to Lord Chaitanya's movement and spread it, and then he defeated all my arguments. So I was very proud on him, and I understood he's my Guru. He told I was always the leader of everyone, you know, in my childhood and youth. But that's that time understood. Here is somebody who is my leader, you know, because he defeated me. He can guide me. He can destroy all my false conceptions.
It is so nice in Krishna consciousness, like this.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about the question of Pandurnath Prabhu and your answer. And
sorry, what?
I was thinking about the question of Pandurnath Prabhu.
Okay, Pandu.
And you told him so. I would add something on this subject matter because it reminds me in some lectures of some senior devotees. I've heard that prasadam is for purification of our senses, and our shastras are here for our strong intelligence, and the association of devotees is here to correct our false ego. So it reminds me recently, or from time to time, we all have the experience that these anarthas within us, like this malice, which was mentioned during this lecture, which are stumbling blocks to surrender to Krishna, to reach Srimad Bhagavata, to start to chant japa and such things. So these anarthas are stumbling blocks. So in this case, in the association of devotees, we cannot recognize these tendencies, these wrong tendencies in ourselves alone, or in the association of materialistic persons, but only in the association of devotees, because devotees are pure in heart, they are innocent like children, and they openly they are sensitive, and they can feel when something is out of order, in the case that something is false, not right. So they react in such a way that that we see that, oh, I have done something wrong, because this somebody else is reacting in a way which shows me that he does not like my behavior. So I have to think what I have done wrongly, and so I can recognize my faults, my anarthas, and I can start to work on this. So it is just my comment and my thoughts about this part of this discussion of the subject matter. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. I only wanted to also say something about that, because even if you see that somebody in the association of devotees maybe disturbs other devotees, but these other devotees, they maybe will not correct you when they see that you are not open for correction. That's also stated in the Bhagavad Gita. If somebody is not surrendered or not open for correction, we should not instruct these persons in a deeper knowledge of how to try to correct. Otherwise, the person will become angry. There's a saying: if you give a fool good advice, he only becomes angry. It's not taken as a well-wishing. So therefore, devotees have to be very careful to whom you say something, and even in a favorable way to correct, because the person, if he is in malice mood, still affected by this disease, he maybe don't take it in a favorable way. He take it as an attack. And then many times it happens, then the opposite result appears. So the My experience is we can only correct somebody if somebody is surrendered, has faith in you, then you can correct. Guru can correct a surrendered disciple. A not surrendered disciple, even Guru doesn't say anything. He's not trying to correct. Maybe in subtle way, but not directly. Or through somebody else. But not directly. Vrindavan, you're still here?
Yes, I am. I'm listening with full attention.
And if somebody is surrendered, then the Guru can even really give you, tell you something very deep, and but not what you never have heard. You know, nobody told you ever, and you will be completely shocked. You know, but because you are surrendered, you can accept it and improve. Therefore, sometimes this thunderbolt of instruction of Guru or statement of Guru sometimes can be a good treatment for a disciple who is surrendered. Another who is not surrendered, it will break him. It's like that. This is psychology, because we are psychological people, even we are devotees, you know, so everyone has its own karma and way and mentality and prarabdha karma. So it's not easy to overcome that, even with chanting and with association and with hearing many classes and chanting thousands of rounds. It's not so easy to be changed, you know, because this is a program what we carry with us since time immemorial, not only from this lifetime. So with a certain mentality we cannot correct so easily, only patiently with the time. Therefore, step by step. We should not try to make jumping, you know, because I've seen cultivating some plants here, some salad and some and some green things, and I put it here on the inside of the room because sometimes outside is too cold, and I was very enthusiastic because I thought, oh, it's already quite sunny here, and nice. Quite okay climate, so I take it inside and maybe sometimes outside. So what happened, you know, these plants, you know, they grew very fast. It's written in the description of the in the guidelines, you know, it maybe takes 2 weeks or 1 month until it sprouts. But I became very enthusiastic. Oh, it sprouted already after 1 week. And I watered it, and and it even came up and higher and higher and higher. And then ultimately we found out actually this sprout only shots up in the height, but it doesn't go up in the broad. So then we found out, oh, it's because it got too warm in the room. So then we had to put it out on the balcony, you know, and now we see it grows slower, you know, you almost cannot see the growth. And gradually it becomes a little more strong, the plant. So, and so we actually, we got a good realization in that, you know, if somebody makes a lot of advancement in short time, you know, and sprouts up in Krishna consciousness, you know, then he actually is not advanced. It only looks like, but actually on the basic, on the foundation, he's still very weak. It's very weak. Only by endurance and by tapasya, that means by steady concentration and practice of bhakti yoga sadhana, this bhakti plant can actually become cultivated and become strong. Even if it doesn't look that it grows up very high. You almost don't see anything grows, but it's still there, and you see it is not dead, it is still alive. And then one day, you know, if you go on with the watering process, and then you become surprised, so suddenly, you know, the plant is growing. And I had a plant from last year, or was it? Yeah, from last year, flowers in the earth. Normally one thinks, oh, if the flowers is over, then you threw it out in the recycling, you know, where all the vegetables and flowers go for recycling. But I thought, no, let's see, I keep it. So I keep this trunk of the flower, no more flower, maybe 1 or 2 little flowers are still there. And I gave a little water, not too much, only a little now and then. And I kept it out in the balcony, although it was under 0 and sometimes very cold. And the plant completely dried out. But one day when I was looking, you know, I saw green sprout come out by the side. And now this is already growing more and more and more. So I'm hoping maybe again that plant will bear flowers again to offer to Krishna for a second season. Let's see. But even by gardening, you know, by cultivating plants, you know, you can learn spiritual life. Yeah. Okay. Something else?
Okay, thank you. This is all for the moment. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare
Maharaj.
I have a question concerning the lecture of yesterday.
Yeah.
You were speaking about Dhruva Loka and Dhruva Maharaj and this polar star we can see with our eyes. So it came to my mind, it looks like a deity where you can worship because it's spiritual. Is this a correlation, or everyone who sees the polar star, he can make some spiritual advancement just by looking at it?
At least it's a star that is always bright, and you can orient yourself in this direction. But you have your deities, you know, I would recommend you to worship your deities, and you have enough to do. And yeah, you can always offer a ghee lamp or an incense, you know, to the sun and to the moon and to the stars, if you like, and to the directions. Because after you offer to the deities, you always offer around you. That means to all directions, also to the sun, to the moon, to the directions, to all devotees who are present. First we worship Krishna, then we offer the prasad. Then you can offer to the moon, to the sun, to the pole star, or whatever. Shishumara, Milky Way. Okay, something else? Otherwise,
if possible, here is Avadutta, the big ego. I could make some comments, please, if you allow me, with a straw in my mouth about Ishvarapura.
Okay, short.
Yeah, very short. I heard a little bit different that debate about mistake. That Lord Chaitanya, when Ishvarapura came to him next day, Lord Chaitanya didn't want to argue anymore again to prove his point, because anyway he is God. Many times he defeated many people, but he rather left that his devotee is glorious at the end. That would be one point I wanted to mention. So Lord Chaitanya could go on with argument, but he didn't want. He just wanted his devotee to be glorious and the victorious. The other thing I wanted, the Gopal mantra, I just read yesterday, it was only 10 syllables of it, it seems, which Lord Chaitanya got. And in the book of Sachinandana Swami, he mentions that it was the last name and the Swaha. That's 10 syllables, not the whole Gopal mantra what we have. But I have one question, if you allow me, please. That Narada Muni, he gave instructions to Vyasadeva, and he said you should meditate, and what you see in your meditation, then you should write down. So because he saw things in his meditation, I'm wondering how is it that it was not realized knowledge, because you said in the lecture that Vyasadeva, he did not have realized knowledge, and therefore he is a person who maybe knows, maybe not knows. So it's I'm just wondering about this.
No, he already compiled the Puranas. Even Bhagavad Purana partially he had already compiled. All 18 Puranas were ready according to Jiva Goswami, but not 18,000 verses. So these 18,000 verses was ultimately finalized by the speaking of Shukadev Goswami and also Sutta Goswami, who added his part of realization, because it is stated that each speaker spoke the Bhagavatam according to his realization. It's not just a repetition, like a dry repetition of a parrot. They spoke with realization, with experience. It means that what they heard and also thought about it and experienced and relished. Otherwise, you should not speak. You should not speak just something theoretical knowledge if you don't understand it. Because if you don't understand it and are confused about it, then others also will be confused about it and will not understand. So therefore, one should only speak that what we can digest and also what we can relish and realize. So what actually Shukadev Goswami realized by the mercy of Vyasadeva, he gave him some basic ideas of Bhagavatam, but then it was advanced, it was increased by Shukadev Goswami's own path and experience. And they also, because in the Bhagavatam there's also what I could see, different disciplic successions. There's also one coming from Shankaracharya through the 4 Kumaras. In the 3rd canto, 8th chapter, you can read Parashara Muni, Maitreya. This is one part of the Bhagavatam, what was revealed by Sankarshan to the 4 Kumaras, Sanat Kumar, headed by Sanat Kumar. And in this way, that is what the version what Maitreya spoke to Vidura. But this version only goes from the 3rd canto on, from Maitreya speaking until the end of 4th canto. Then after that, we hear Narada Muni. Narada Muni's and Shukadev Goswami's own teachings and realizations about Bhagavatam. And then Narada Muni who is especially also appearing in the 6th canto and in the 7th canto. He appears in all the cantos, but he is direct son of Brahma. And he is representing the line of Brahma and gives that to Vyasadeva. But Vyasadeva, he took already an existing Bhagavata, this from Maitreya, also in the Bhagavad, because it's all Bhagavad Katha. It's about Bhagavad Katha means to speak about the 10 topics of the Bhagavata. That's the Bhagavad Purana. Purana, the Mahapurana has 10 topics. A minor Purana has 5 topics. The general Puranas mostly speak about history of universe, about creation, first creation, secondary creation, elementary creation, the creation by Brahma. These you can find in all the Puranas. Then also the about the different kings and the different Manus, Manvantaras, certain behavior according to Dharma. These things are dealt in all the Puranas. But directly the how we say the topics about Krishna Lila, about Rasa Lila, Krishna's relationship with his devotees in Vrindavan, in Dwaraka, also in Hastinapur, and also some Lila avatar Katha of the avatars of the Krishnas, Raha, Nisingha, and so on, Vamana, Parashuram, Ramachandra. There may be also in other Puranas, but in other Puranas mostly also many sages' pastimes, curses and counter curses. Although you find also in Bhagavatam, but in the Bhagavatam mostly it is concentrated and centered on Krishna Lila, on Krishna and the great personalities who appear in different family lines of great kings. But this is all in relation to Krishna, and especially also in relation to devotional service to Krishna. In many Puranas they also have about different avatars and even about Krishna description, but not so much about devotional service and about Mahajanas. And this Mahajan and devotional service Katha is only practically very prominent, very obvious in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is what Srila Vyasadeva was meditating about, that he got only a seed of meditation of what actually is described in the first canto, 7th chapter. Of his meditation, when he saw the Mahapurusha, the Paramapurusha, when he saw the living entities, the marginal energies, and the Maya, who is like shadow behind she could not influence the Lord, but she could completely cover with her shadow the living entities' consciousness, although they are part and parcels of the Lord. And then out of this compassion, of this vision that he had, he compiled the Bhagavatam. And he was already an experienced writer. So and he was empowered. He's Narayana himself. Jiva Goswami in Sandarbha says, Tattva Sandarbha, who else than Vyasadeva, if he would not be a direct Narayana incarnation, could write Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, and all these scriptures, would not be possible. Then there are different Vyasas in different ages, but in this Vyasa, in this age now, where we live, in this time of Manvantar, is very special. It's a very, like Lord Chaitanya is very special, Krishna is very special. They're not appearing all the time. They only appear very rarely. And therefore, this Kali Yuga where we live today is very special. It's not like every Kali Yuga, it's very special. No. Because Lord Chaitanya appeared, Krishna appeared, not only in their incarnation form of an expansion of Vasudeva, but in their original form. That means directly from Vrindavan. And they actually, therefore, this Vrindavan mood and this love, prema in Vrindavan, that's especially crystallized and presented by Shukadev Goswami. And of course, later on, through disciplic succession through the Goswami literature. Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Even although the Sripad Sridhar Swami is original commentator of Bhagavatam, but because he was living in a time where Mayavadi was very prominent and very powerful, and he appeared in he's in the disciplic succession of Vishnu Swami. That means Rudra Sampradaya. So his mission was similar, like also Ramanuja and Madhvacharya. There was an how we say revolutionary time, so they had to be very careful to present the philosophy in personal and impersonal way. Therefore, sometimes it's a little confusing if you're not initiated in the personal Vaishnava aspect of Bhagavan worship. So although the main, although he's the main acharya of the Bhagavad, is the original, we should not overstep him, because he gives the foundation of Bhagavad school. But that doesn't mean that that those who are faithful in Sridhar Swami's commentary, that they cannot also have their own realization, also in Rasa Tattva. Therefore, we can find this in the writings of Vishwanath Chakravarti, in Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami. They're especially empowered to write directly Rasa Shastra. You agree with it?
What I was now thinking is when sometimes Sridhar Swami makes a comment that it looks like a Mayavad, Jiva Goswami, he rejects that, but it seems to me that it is a kind of bridge preaching of Sridhar to attract the Mayavadis.
That's the point, because they're bridge makers, That means they have to be very careful, because in that time, it was also very risky for your life. They're ready even to remove you, to kill you if you were deviating, not connected or in correspondence with their philosophy. Now we have political things, but that time it was philosophy and theological. Nowadays, philosophy and theology is more on the side, and the more other motivations are in the center. But it's the same mentality. So this mentality is since time immemorial. Always they want to be somebody superior and wants to expand and wants to become a world power. That's a whole world history since time immemorial like that. But don't be afraid. Nobody became successful. So, because there's only one Ishvara, the whole world, Jagat Ishvara, that's Krishna. And only by his mercy one partially can partially. One can control or do something for the benefit of the people, according to their perspective. Everyone has a perspective, other one has another perspective. And then all these different perspectives, they are not wrong. Everyone is right. Because everyone is showing from his perspective what is how he realizes. So therefore, the impersonalistic view it has also its stand, But for the Vaishnava realization, it has not. It's not the ultimate perfection, and that's actually something not desired for at all. Yeah. Anyway, you can speak a lot about that. That's yeah. Need to go on now. Half a day is already over. More than. So we stop now. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Ranta.
Thank you, Guru Master.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Haribol.
So we see each other after 1 month again, the last Sunday in the month of March.
Yeah. So you just send me the notice when you're ready for it.
Okay.
Always the last Sunday in the month.
Okay.
So the last Sunday this month. It's already March then, huh? '27. Yeah, 27th. 27th March. It's okay. But we can fix it, and short before that time. Huh? Granta.
Yes, is exactly 1 month. Yeah, today is also 27th. Yes. I will contact you, Guru Maharaj, that we see if something appear maybe meanwhile.
Good then. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, thank you.
Hey, Naitse, Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Jai.